Well, thank you guys for coming and hanging out tonight at the house, and thank you for wherever you're at, taking a second out of your time to click on this video and watch this video. I'm guessing that the reason you took some time out of your day to watch this is because likely you are a single parent. And our prayer tonight is that this would help you wherever we're at and wherever you feel like maybe you've missed the mark or you're doing well. Our prayer is that through us sharing what we've experienced through single parenting, me as a child of a single parent, and these amazing women of God as single moms themselves, that you would find some courage. So I want to give you a little bit of the reality of the country that we live in and kind of what's going on. Right now, 23% of children in the U.S. They live in single parent households. So that's almost a quarter of the kids in our country are being raised by single parents, just like these. And to make that have a number, not just a percentage, that means that 12.9 million kids are being raised by single parents. And so this is something that oftentimes we don't talk about a lot in the church. And I think these numbers speak for themselves. This is a conversation that we need to have. And so I'm going to say a quick prayer, and then we're going to dive into this conversation. Hopefully it'll help you and it'll help us as well. Jesus, we thank you for the fact that you created this thing called a family, and you did it by shedding your blood so that we can be a part of a new blood family. And Jesus, I pray for the stories we tell tonight, the hearts that we open up. I pray that they encourage people. In your name, amen.
Amen.
All right. So what I think we should do here is just kind of go around and you guys share a little bit about who you are, kind of your name, how many kids, your kids' age, and we'd also love to know how long you've been going to MCC. So you go first.
My name is Sonia Pearson. I have one son. His name is Braylon Pearson, and I've been going to MCC for about 5 years.
I'm Jody, and I have 3 girls. I have twins that are 21, and I have a 13-year-old. They're all girls. I don't know if I said that. And I've been going to MCC for 16 years, about 16 years.
And I'm Deirdre McLaughlin, and I have a son, Liam McLaughlin. And Liam and I have been attending MCC since 2012.
Good deal. Well, we're gonna kind of come out of the gate swinging. All right. So just right off the bat, and again, there's no order in answering it, but I would love to hear all you guys take on this one. Let's talk first and foremost. What's the best thing about being a single parent, and then we're gonna talk about what's the most challenging thing about being a single parent. So let's start with the good. What's the best thing that you've experienced in the reality that is being a single parent?
I guess for me, the best thing about being a single parent is you can do it your way.
Yes.
You don't really have to negotiate with another parent. You just do it your way. But then that's also the most challenging, because then there are times that you wish you had someone you could ask that had the same vested interest. Because I never seem to have ever had that. I never had a partner who, even after your divorce, that they had the same vested interest.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, and two, if you wanted to go do something by yourself, it always was virtually impossible unless you got a babysitter, or you always had the kids in tow. But that was the best and the worst. It was the best because I could make the decisions, and it was just me and God talking it out, and nobody else.
Mm-hmm. And I would say the same. And you said it better, because I was going to say you have a little more control. And that's one of the things that can also be challenging, is because you have so much control. You tend to take on a lot, and you tend to kind of overload yourself, because you feel like everything's in my control and I gotta handle it. I just gotta handle it. And sometimes we may not be able to.
Yeah.
I have to agree exactly what the ladies have said. You have to be that mother and that father, and you have to, put on that face,
when you're proud, and that is the most joyful moment, is when you're seeing your son exceed whatever you want, all his goals and everything.
Yeah.
But then those the challenging time is when you at home by yourself in that closet, and when you're crying,
Mm-hmm.
you know, about the hard decisions that you have to make as a single parent. So, yeah.
Yeah, because I would imagine you feel like I have the control, but at the same time, if something goes wrong, like I can't. There's there's nobody else to blame. Like
No.
I gotta own this.
That is
That's right.
absolutely correct. There's nobody else to blame.
Well, now I think that probably plays into the guilt side of it. Is like,
Yes.
well, I kind of have it. It's mine. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very. I can imagine how that would be. You know, obviously you got some of the freedom, but you also got the weight of it coming with it. Let's talk about the. You guys got into this already a little bit, but let's talk about the pace of a single parent household. Obviously, you know, like, you know, for Jessica and I, we got 2 boys, but we can kind of spread out the responsibility of taking them to what they need, and even things just like in life, like going to the DMV or getting, you know, tags registered, getting cars oil changed. Like, talk to me about the pace and how you guys have navigated, like how fast it is or how slow it is. Like, how has that been for you guys, the pace of single parenting?
Hair on fire.
Exactly.
I don't have a pace. I mean,
It's just always 100.
it's you know, we have these organizers, these planners, and you know, from the paper planner to the iPhone and everything, and you get up and you saying, this is how it's gonna be today, and then something always happens. It's like, you know, with me, I have to have that lifeline. I have to have that people that's there I have in place that to help me whenever I need, because I drive so far away from work, and it's never the same day. It's never the same thing every single day. You know, it's just like you get up, you got to do this. You know, you running for work, you throwing them in the car. You're like, okay, we late. The bus is late. You know, what happened?
Do you have your shoes?
You have your shoes. You forgot what for the baseball game. It's just like you 100 miles an hour. It's just, but you have to have that lifeline. That's just for me. I don't know what other ladies would say, but you know, you have to have that lifeline.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be pretty frantic if you don't have some type of organization. And it can be a little staccato, a little bit, and it's, you know, I know that I'm very routine, very routine. So that having a child on my own disrupted that completely. So where I could be a little more frantic, I had to kind of get organized and kind of bring it in. And there are moments and days where we're running at 100 if we've got a lot of activities. Well, we used to have activities. And then there are days when my pace can be a little bit slower. And I found myself sometimes trying to make Liam adjust to my pace until I started realizing, he's small, but he's mighty, and I gotta bring it down so that I can be at his pace. You know.
That's good. That's good. Do you guys feel like, you know, would you say you would go through seasons where you had more margin or less margin, or you feel like you almost were kind of always operating this place where like there wasn't a whole lot of wiggle room in the schedule?
I would say most of the time there wasn't wiggle room, because I remember when the girls were little, they played soccer. And I mean, just washing the uniforms, getting them ready, getting the kids in the car. If you got your cleat, getting them in the car. You know, can you get in the car? Somebody get in the car.
Get you in the car.
I know. Has anybody eaten anything? Did we eat? I don't even know if we ate. Did we use the bathroom? Did we get, you know, and it just always seems, well, the older they got, it was just more, it was a little bit calmer, I guess, as they get older, when they're able to do a little bit more for themselves. But then I was still in that controlling role that I felt like I still needed. It's hard to come out of that role of I want to control everything, because you have to, to letting them do more stuff. That was kind of hard for me. It still is, actually. But I remember sometimes I would want to sit in my car because they would fall asleep in their car seats, and I would just want to sleep in my car. I thought, where can I go park my car where I won't get arrested and have 2 kids sleeping in the back? Because every time I would turn off the car, they would wake up.
Exactly. Yeah.
So as soon as I pull in the driveway and turn off the car, they would wake up, and I'd be like, I'm so tired, I just want to sleep. So
Yeah.
it just seemed to me, just thinking back, that it was just always busy. I mean, they're older now; they're 21, and
Yeah.
Jaylee's 13, but I was always tired. I always felt tired. Always, I'd wake up tired.
Yeah.
You know, you just I always felt very, very tired.
More like a not one that coffee could cure. Just
No.
kind of a,
No, I always felt tired. I remember one day I went to work and I kept repeating all day long to people, and I thought I was crazy. I was like, I need to stop on my way home and get milk. Like, I can't forget, I gotta stop on my way home and get milk. They're like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just out of milk, and I had a lot of work to do, and I made myself a note, and I was like, I just don't want to forget. And they were like, I just remember that. There was just some days that you just would fret about the silliest things.
Yep. Yeah. Well, this next question is going to require a little bit of imagination. Okay. So, if you could go back to your first year of being a single parent. Okay. So imagine being able to go back to you there, knowing what you know now. What's some of the things or the wisdom you would share or the encouragement you would give you in that first year of being a single parent? Now, knowing what you do now.
Not to let my son see me cry. Not to let my son see me to the point that I just can't handle it.
Yeah.
Not to let my son just see me to the point it's just, this is too much for me.
Yeah.
I can't do it. You know, because I don't want him to see me in that space. This is too much for me. I can't do it.
It's hard to do that though.
It is extremely
It's-
hard. to do.
it's really
It is-
hard
it's
because-
hard.
And there's times when you lose it, like you just lose it.
You do.
You just lose it. You're yelling, you're just losing your mind because you're frustrated, and it's hard not to let them see the frustration. And you know, I look at my daughters now, they're 20, the older ones are 21, and one of them is so worried about money. She's constantly consumed about money. Now, I never talked to her about my finances. It was always under control as far as I thought they knew.
Yeah.
But however she picked up on it, even if I didn't say anything,
Yeah.
and she didn't see me cry, she has developed a worry about money. And I'm like, that had to have come from me. I mean, where else would it have come from? So even though you don't say it, or you don't cry in front of them, or you try not to show it, they're still gonna pick up on.
And that is so.
They are
true.
still gonna
That
pick
is
up
so
on
true.
it. You know, they learn so much from us. But yeah, I mean, if I could go back to myself the first year, it would be to let more people help me. I had no family nearby. I had no one to help me. So I guess I would say later I reached out to the church more, and maybe just, you know, don't sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff. But it's hard because everything is on your shoulders, mother and father, everything. The kids' activities, you know, I always wanted them in activities, and I wanted to do this. And I don't know, I would somehow want to just tell myself it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna make it. It's gonna be all right. And I think I was very scared. I was very insecure. I felt like I had to have a man in my life for it to be okay, for him to take care of things. Like, how was I gonna fix something if it broke? You know, I didn't know how to use a screwdriver or pliers or things, you know? I mean, how was I gonna fix anything? And I was very consumed worrying about things like that.
Yeah.
You know, so if I could go back and say, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
You're going to have people that you're going to be able to reach out to when the water heater goes out, you know, when the air conditioner's not running,
Yeah.
you know, when things are happening, your car broke down, you know, and you don't have that partner to call to say, hey, you don't have that parent to call to say, hey, I'm broke down on the side of the road. It's just you.
Yeah.
And it's going to be okay. I think I worried a lot about those types of things.
All
And
the
I-
what ifs.
Yeah, all the
Yeah.
what ifs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think if I could go back and say, it's going to be fine, trust more in God.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's good.
You know, trust more in God.
Exactly.
Because that's where I would land. That's, you know, the first year and you're on your own and you're looking at this child and you're like, okay, what are we supposed to do? It's you and it's me, and you got me as your mama, and we're gonna be okay. We're gonna do what we gotta do. And I think looking back 12 years ago, 11 years ago, I would probably just tell myself to breathe, relax,
Yeah.
breathe. You don't know it all.
Yeah.
That's
If I look back,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, you guys kind of you tiptoed around it a little bit already, but I want to dive into that pressure that I know you hear talked about from the single parenting side of things. That pressure that a single parent has to kind of compensate for the role that's not there. So if it's the father compensating for the mother who's not there, if it's the mother compensating for the father who's not there, you know, you hear different parents talk about it and say, I had to be both, and then others say, I never tried to be both. I tried to be me. You know, how have you guys navigated that with your children?
I would say I've not tried to be both.
Yeah.
I think having had that example from my own single mom, you know, and she'll to this day she'll call and say Happy Father's Day, and I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to play that role, because he has a dad who makes the choices that he makes to be there or not, more oftentimes not, and I'm not going to try to fill in for that. But I do try to plant people in his life, male figures for him, who are going to stand in that stead.
Yeah.
And I do what I can do as his mother and give him what his mama can give him, knowing that certain things I'm not able to give my little brown boy, you know.
And I never thought about being the father. I mean, I never thought about playing that role. I mean, I had my girls playing sports. I just never really thought about it in that way. I don't think that I grew up in a very healthy home.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be like my father,
Yeah.
nor did I want to be like my mother. So I was willy-nilly.
Yeah.
I mean, thank goodness for MCC. For me, I mean, that's where I turned to for so much support. But I wasn't trying to be a father. And I think that's where a lot of guilt for me comes in. I feel like it's my fault a lot of times because I chose poorly.
That's a good one.
You know, I chose poorly. I made a decision to be with that person who's no longer here and involved in my daughter's life because he isn't.
Yeah.
He's absent. He's not in her life. And that's the worst guilt that I feel.
I can't say, I am going to continue to say that the mother and the father, but I do know that Braylon has a father that is in his life. I'm not going to take that away from his father. But when I say that I am the mother and the father, because due to the job that his father had, is certain things I know that I have to step in and do.
Yeah.
So I want to raise my son, and he is around positive male people, male figures. MCC is a great place, have great mentors. He loves this church unconditionally, and it has been a very positive influence in his life. But I do have to take the things that his father would do when I was married. I could not stand dealing with bloody nose and I go outside, I play basketball with my son, I run around track, I do everything I possibly can with my son, because I do know when he turned in those teens,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
it's not gonna be, it's gonna be, I really don't exist, because he's gonna be, I'm trying to enjoy all the time I can with him.
Before stinky armpits.
There you go. There you go, Pastor Shred. There you go.
And it's not trying to be a father, it's just being out there doing it. It's like, you know, I'll go
Right.
play softball with them, I'll go
Yes.
play basketball, I mean, whatever
Yes.
they want to do is
Yes.
what I'll go do. And I don't ever think of it as, oh, that's what a father should
Right.
do.
It's
You
just
know?
what you're doing
It's
with
just
your
what
child.
you
You're doing
do.
it.
Just
That's
go
good.
do.
That's good.
Yeah.
this question kind of shifting a little bit of the gears. What do you wish married couples knew? Married couples with kids. What do you wish they knew about single parents? So I mean, again, you guys are all kids playing sports and doing different things. Like, what do you wish they knew about you?
I wish the mothers could step up and be the room mother instead of me being the room mother. I'm like, how did I get to be the room mother? Y'all are all married. Some of y'all don't even work. How did I get to be the room? That frustrated me more than anything, because I would tell the teachers when I would sign them, when I would go for open house, I would say, because of course they always ask, can you be the room mother? I'm like, aren't I the last person that came in? I thought I planned that just right. So I'd be like, well, the last one. Somebody else surely took that job. And I said, if you can't find anybody else, I'll do it. But I said, I'm a single mom, I work full time, but if you can't, but I would always, for some reason, I was always a room mother in one of my children's classes, and I was always so frustrated with that. I was like, why? I know there's married people around here, and some of these mothers may not work. Can't they pick up that psych? And I think working too. So it's not necessarily couples. When you see couples together, it's more of an understanding, like in the workplace. And
because all you guys are hardworking, full time, doing it all.
I would tell them to stay active in their life. I mean, from the baseball games to the wherever sports, spend as much time with your kids. Don't let work consume you. Because I know a lot of parents, a mother and a father in the same household, but it's still like that mother is a single parent. Because I would tell them, do as much as you can with them, because it means a lot for a child to look up from the baseball game and she see the parents, she don't see that, or they don't see that, but they're like, where they at? Where are they? It's just enjoy that time together and just work together as a parent for your kids, and don't let them see that it's apart because they can't come with decisions together. That's my biggest thing right there. It's just that don't let the work consume you, and just spend as much time as you can and show them that you're there for them.
That's good. We tiptoed around this one a little bit too in regards to the church. Let's talk about this one. And again, this is we're a pretty open, honest, transparent church. If you've been around us for a little while, you've known that. So I'd love to hear how has the church hurt you as a single parent? And this is inadvertently, where it was something that was intentional to happen. But how has the church hurt you? And maybe even a way to come at it is how has going to church, being a part of it, maybe been a harder hurdle because of you guys' reality of being a single parent? Like, how has the church maybe been something that was harder because of that?
I think you get the stigma of when you're the single parent, be it a mom or a dad. You're coming in with your children or your child, and I think people, once they see, like after a couple of times they see you, it's like, oh, there's no dad around. Or there's no guy. Or there's no wife, or whatever the case may be. And I think that it can be a little isolating. I think sometimes the church can do that, especially if your child is smaller, where you're wanting them to be more involved in more things, like VBS or summer camp, or whatever those things are, and it just seems as though the church they don't always understand if a child can't get somewhere or be able to participate in something. And it almost makes the child feel as though, well, why can't I participate, though I don't have the extra income to pay for the camp, or I don't have the extra parent to take me to the family night at church for the movie because mama's working or daddy's working. And I think, if they could just be a little more open and understanding that, single parents do need a little extra attention. And it's not, hey, see us, and we're not playing a victim type
Yeah.
of role, but just
Just that understanding.
Yeah, just the understanding
I
that we may be dealing with a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Well, and I never thought, I mean, for me, it was more me. It was more me being divorced, you know, being a single mom, you know, and coming into church. I felt like there were couples, you know, I don't know if the wife was pulling the husband away, get away from her. Yes, she's a single woman, you know, I don't know. But, you know, you kind of got that feeling like there's some married women that didn't, and
Yes.
things, you know, I understand.
Yeah.
However, I'm not there looking for your husband.
Right.
You know, I'm just trying to raise my kids in a
That's it.
church,
Yes.
and I want a good family church where I can make some really good relationships, which I have.
Yes.
I've made some really outstanding relationships, and I'll let you speak, but I have tons of positive
Yeah.
that I've received. So.
I think with me, I was getting more of the pity. Oh, I feel so sorry for
yeah.
you because, you know, are you okay? What can I do for you? And I'll be like, did I come in here wrong? Did have something happen?
I'm still breathing hard.
I don't want you to, I want you to look at me and my son
Yeah.
as two human beings, not
Yeah.
as somebody that's
Yeah.
looking for a handout,
Yeah.
not a pity party,
Yeah.
just for someone at the church to guide me in the way that I need to learn more
Exactly.
about God.
Yeah.
That's all I ask.
Yeah.
I don't have my hands out saying, I need this, I need this. I just need for you to help me.
Did you ever,
in
you
a
guys
positive
ever,
way.
you feel like at times like you had, like coming into that environment, it was like, I went to as fast as possible, like, it was almost like, if I could just wear a t-shirt that kind of had like a summary of my story on it,
Oh my
so
God.
everybody didn't have to,
Oh my God.
like,
Oh my God.
what's going on here?
Oh
Like,
my
we're just
God.
like, all right, this is the deal, here's the story, whatever. Because I think people come in, they're like initially curious in that side of things.
It was like, I felt like they had an index card when you walked in, they're like, this is a question, this is a question, this question, this question, this question. That's how I felt. That's,
Yep. All right. Well, let's turn the table around there. How has the church helped? How have you experienced some good that has come out from the church side of things?
Well, and just to pick up on that, what you were saying about when people were trying to give you things, I think that McDonough Christian Church has been spectacular
I agree with you on
me.
that.
That they have, I mean, in every activity, in the kindest way.
Yeah.
You know, Jody, are you going to be able to afford this?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
is this going to be okay? And I always took advantage of the early sign up
Yes.
and the car wash.
I wish I could say that.
My kids were always at the car
I'm
wash.
not the early sign up, I tell you that right now.
So I took advantage of all those. I don't think I ever took advantage of anything else because I was able to afford a lot of things for
Yeah.
girls, but I did take advantage of the discounts and the this
Yeah.
off and that off. But there wasn't ever a time where I felt like someone wasn't concerned,
Yeah.
you know, to say, or you know, is this going to be okay, or are you going to be able to work this out? And I mean, even when the girls were little, they had come out of foster care, so they were very apprehensive about going into being left alone.
Yeah.
They didn't want me to leave them. So even as small children, I would take them in. And Lisa Donaldson she's the one that would always ask me about camp. She's the one that did this for the girls as well. She would take them and hurry them into the restroom.
Mm-hmm.
And so, come on, girls, let's go use the bathroom. And she would distract them in the bathroom so I could leave and go to church.
Yeah. Well, Lisa knows what it's like. Yeah. She's been
So,
there. Yeah.
Yes, it's been there.
Yeah.
So it's been, and I've always felt involved in everything that they've participated in and they've done. I just can't say enough things about McDonough Christian Church and camp. I mean, the girls always loved going to camp, and they always wanted to make sure I was able to go.
Yeah.
You know, are you able to do this? Are you able to go? So.
That's good.
I'm benefited greatly. Just even when we came in and Liam was just so excited at 3 years old, going in with Miss Diane and Mr. Craig, and he just felt so welcomed and included, and so did I, even though I'm a shy person, so I didn't really do a lot of talking to people. I just speak and kind of go on, but the children's ministry set the tone for me to stay in that church.
I agree with you
And it has
100%.
been awesome.
Yeah.
They have been great. I've made some really, really great friendships with people there over the years. It's taken me a long time, but I cannot say enough about how much we've benefited from MCC.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that point because we was going traveling all the way from Duluth to Cross Point. And teacher said, come on to MCC. I said, okay. And the first Sunday Braylon went to church and he was like, Mom, I said, how do you like it? He said, Mom, I like it a lot. And then, you know, he didn't want to miss a Sunday or whatever. And I was getting more into it. And then when they went to his first long stay at church camp, which broke me down, you know, he came back and I said, are you okay? Did you do good? He's like, I'm good. Are you okay? He's like, I said, you know, he said, Mom, I like it. And we look forward to it every year.
Yeah.
And we was very disappointed about this year, but that's
Yeah.
okay, you know. But I mean, I have benefit from Mr. Barry, Craig, I mean, I could just name Amy, Rachel,
Tom Parker.
Jeannie. I mean, Mr. Tim. It's just, I've never been at a church, Pastor Trent, that the arm is just open to you, no matter what your race is. Just open your arms, and I'm just so blessed.
That's awesome.
I'm so blessed
That's
to
good.
have that church in my life.
Jaylee's been going to camp ever since camp started, and she wouldn't go by herself to first timers camp, and even after first timers camp, either one of my daughters had to go as a counselor or I had to go as a counselor. So she
Room mom all over again.
all over again. I remember one time they gave me my own room; it was really nice.
There you
But now, you know, she was able to go by herself, and this year was going to be her last year able to go.
Oh.
She is brokenhearted.
Yeah.
And she every year from camp she'd cry coming home. Every
Yeah.
year she would cry, oh, I can't believe it's over. It's over.
Yeah.
And then this year she couldn't believe that she missed it. And I said, well, we'll have to talk to Mr. Tim. See if you can
Yeah, it was a team.
tell her
Get in
something.
there.
Yeah. Figure something out.
This your last year.
Carry the bags.
She is so sad. She was so sad about it. Everything. It didn't matter about anything else. She was most upset because she had to miss summer camp this year.
Summer camp, that's awesome for the kids. I never
Yes.
forget. Braylon he took his phone for the first time, and I would call him and I said, phone would never answer phone. I said, hey, I said, anybody see Braylon? I mean, is he okay? And he was like, so he finally called me. He was like, I'm good. I promise you, I'm good. So
They take good care of
they
them.
take very good care of the
Yeah,
kids.
they do.
So
Yeah.
Well, let's ask this. You know, obviously we've been talking about some different ways that we felt guilt. You know, that's kind of the whole series we're in, is this idea of, you know, parent guilt. And obviously there's some unique experiences of guilt that you guys experience as single parents, and that single parents experience in general. And I feel like we've dove into those, you know, you guys have shared your hearts, and I really appreciate that. But now I'd love to hear how you've experienced God's grace, like as a single parent, how you have experienced His grace, Him giving you those things, whether it's an extra boost of energy, an extra month's rent, an extra whatever, just that grace as a single parent. How have you experienced that?
Fully aware and present in His kindness, His loving kindness for me as I parent this child.
Yeah.
I have a tendency to, when things are not going the way I want them to, or if I feel like something's going a little left when it should go right, I don't always know how to express my frustration or my annoyance in the most genteel way. I mean, I'm not like boisterous, and I don't do the profanity and all that, but I just sometimes can go, oh God, you know, I just do it a little different, and and Liam just kind of catches me in that, and it becomes, Mommy, you got it. It's okay. We're
Yeah.
gonna be good.
Yeah.
And I know that that's God speaking through him
Yeah.
to reassure me that we might have a hiccup,
Mm-hmm.
but he's gonna carry us through.
That's good. Yeah, it's that you, I guess you don't. I mean, for all of us as parents, you sometimes you fail to realize like God is actually going to use this little creature to
Yes.
show me His grace.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. How about you guys?
Just, I wanted to say, as far as also MCC, what they did for me as a single parent, it wasn't all what they did for my kids. I've had church members show up at my house because I was having a breakdown. I was going through something terrible, and I would have them show up to my house, bringing me meals when I broke my ankle and I couldn't cook.
Yeah.
You know, I had people just starting to show up with meals at my house, and being able to talk to so many of the women at the church helped me as well. But they were always, I seemed to always have somebody that I could talk to about the different things. And there's so many people at the church that were there for me. You know, at one time, I mean, just financially, just we're here. You know, we're here for you financially. If you need it, here's what we have for you. Somebody did something like that for me. I don't know who it was. I have no clue.
Yeah.
They gave a check to the church to give to me out of nowhere. And I'm like, who did it? They said, you just do it to someone else later in life. They don't want you to know who did it. So there was always, God always had somebody for me to talk to lean on, whenever it was that I needed it. And they were, you know, of course they were from McDonough Christian Church, and they were always there for me.
Yeah.
So I'm not even really sure, what was your question?
Well, I think you answered it without
Yeah.
knowing you answered it.
Yeah,
It's that
you
like
did.
it's the idea of, you know, how have you experienced God's grace
Oh,
as a parent? And it's
okay.
like, and I think sometimes we think all God's grace is going to just be this, you know, this word I hear, or this, you know, quiet time in the morning where I'm weeping and crying. But like, I think many times we experience God's grace through the people that He gives us and puts in our life. And I think that's exactly what you're talking about there.
I think mine was when my son came to me and said that he wanted to be baptized.
Mm.
And I was in a conference with Pastor Tim and Rachel, and listened to him speak about the Bible and speak about God.
Yeah.
I knew I was in the right
That's
place.
something else. Isn't it?
At
Yeah.
Macon, the Christian church. I knew I was in the right place. I didn't even know that
Yeah. That's
when I
beautiful.
heard him. And I was just like, I'm in the right place. And how these beautiful ladies and these strong men were just teaching my son and teaching me about, I didn't know really, I knew about God.
Yeah.
And now I can understand that when I'm at home talking to myself and I hear him talking to me, I get it. But I'm still learning, but I get it.
Yeah.
And hear my son speak about God, I know that I'm in the right place at MCC. I know I am.
That's good. Well, ladies, what final word of encouragement would you give to any single parents that may watch this? What one last word of encouragement, wisdom, would you speak into their life?
I would say it's a bumpy ride, but it's going to be so joyful at the end. And I say that because as I transition from one chapter of my child's life, who's now a preteen, and we enter into the next phase, I stand firmly rooted in knowing that it's going to be okay. God didn't give me something that I cannot handle. He did not give this little child a mother that cannot provide and take care of it. And I'm so thankful for that. It's going to be okay. It's full of joy. Even if the moment doesn't seem like it, there is joy.
Yeah, that joy doesn't equal happy. Joy doesn't equal easy.
No,
Joy, it's
it
a
doesn't.
deeper kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
I would say, take your time, enjoy the ride. Don't forget about yourself.
That's a good one.
Because when you forget about yourself, you can't be the mother that you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Ask for help,
Yeah.
but stay in His Word and surround yourself with positive people,
Yeah.
and you're gonna be okay.
That's good.
I promise you, you're gonna be okay.
Yeah. That self-care, I imagine that was the whole, like I watched that with my mom, like every day. It's like doing 2 jobs. I'm like, do you sleep? You know, like, I go to sleep and you're not here, and I wake up and you're working. It's already what's going on. But yeah, that's good.
It's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Definitely stay in God's Word. I mean, if you can start your day out that way, just even if you have to get up a little bit earlier. And I mean, just be involved in church. I mean, get
Yes,
involved in
that
a
is
church
Yeah.
where when you do need help, you feel like there's someone that you could ask,
Yes.
even if it's for yourself,
Yeah.
you know, not necessarily even for your kids, but get involved with a church where they really do teach the children. You know, all 3 of my girls have been baptized at
Yeah.
McDonough
That's
Christian
awesome.
Church. So if you can just get in a good church, stay in a good church, and know that you can always change. If you're doing something that's not working with your child, because I always felt like I always had to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, and I remembered, Jody, you can change, you know, we can change what we're doing here. We can change you know, you can always change your situation. There's always something you change, but you can't do it without God in your life.
Yeah.
That is so
Beautiful.
true.
It's beautiful. Well, ladies, thank you from the bottom of my heart for sharing your heart. I really sincerely appreciate it. And for those of you who are watching this, my prayer is that you know that you have a home, you have a place that's already been, through stories like this and lives like this, that's already been made for you at MCC. And if you don't have a place that you would say, this is my church home, this is a place where I can connect with a group of people who can help me raise this child, I invite you, whether it's coming in person on Sundays or it's just connecting online for this crazy season that we're in. We want you to know, one, that you don't have to go through this alone, and that we want to be your family. And we've been praying for people just like you, and anything we can do to help, please don't hesitate to reach out. And whether it's connecting with these ladies, connecting with somebody who's on staff, whatever it may be, we're here for you, and we pray that this encouraged you tonight. Take care.